Hello and welcome to the Wren Den. I'm Wren, this is the Den, and recently I've been trying to compile a list of all of the kind of craft and yarn like festivals and shows in the Northwest, which is where I live, in 2026 so that I don't miss out on anything. Not that I'm going to go to all of them, but just so that I've got options, because different festivals will focus on different things. So it's always good to have a range. And while I was writing that research, because I'm nothing if not predictable and I do love a list, I thought it might be a useful thing to share with you. So today we're going to go through all of the fibre arts and sort of crafter festivals and shows that I could find either in the Northwest or like travelable immediately adjacent to the Northwest. So I've cast this net quite wide because obviously people will live in different places, people will be up for different travel times. So we're going, a little bit far afield on some of them, but broadly they're all within that remit. There should be something that is near you, hopefully. So I hope you find this useful. Let's dive right in. So we're going to go through these in chronological order. So starting with February, this weekend, so this video should be coming out on the 13th of February, so the 14th and 15th of February, there is the Northwest Winter Wool Festival at Norbreck Castle Hotel in Blackpool. This festival was created by an indie yarn designer in response to the increasing call for more fibre arts events in the Northwest, promising 2 days of cosy connections and creative exploration, broadly covering knitting, crochet, spinning, weaving, that sort of thing. They also do an exclusive show pattern when you buy an advance ticket, which is super cute. It's sort of Festival by the Sea themed this year, designed by Kath Andrews. So hoping to make it to that one. Obviously, I'm filming this a little bit in advance so that I've got time to edit. So, but the idea is we'll hopefully make it to that one. But that's this week. That'll be this weekend in Blackpool. In March, we have the Creative Craft Show at the NEC in Birmingham on the 12th and 13th of March. So kind of like in about a month's time. So you've got time to work out travel plans and things. It's happening alongside the Sewing for Pleasure and the Fashion and Embroidery shows, which are all at the NEC, and your ticket for one will include entry to all three. So it's a bit of a kind of 3-for-1 sort of a deal. The Creative Craft Show specifically will cover papercraft, knitting, jewellery making, mixed media and more, with interactive workshops and make and take sessions. It's a big one. I haven't been, but I've seen people who have, and yeah, it's definitely, if you're kind of travelable to Birmingham, seems like one of the ones to really try and make at least once. Also in March, also on the same weekend, but only 2 days, so the 14th and 15th, whereas the Creative Craft Show starts on the 12th and goes to the 15th. Textile, TEXSTYLE. I'll put, hopefully, you'll have either graphics or words on the screen to illustrate what I'm saying, and I'll put the links to all of the events in the description so that you can kind of easily work out what is for you. Textile is a new one. It's at Manchester Central, and it's a fibre and textile festival celebrating independent stitchcraft creators, covering, I mean, the list is long: knitting, crochet, sewing, quilting, weaving, lace making, dyeing, embroidery, felting, kind of you name it. If there's fibre crafts involved, there's probably something for you. I'm hoping to get to that one as well. Excited to see, but obviously, like, first year of a festival or a show is always a bit hit and miss. The main thing I am kind of looking forward to see is how they manage sort of crowd control and numbers, because I think often the first year of these sorts of things they sell too many tickets actually, and it's too crowded, and they kind of need to pare it back a little bit. And the fact that it's only on the 14th and the 15th means that you can't go on a Friday, which would be quieter, which would be my normal technique for that sort of thing. So we'll see. If I go, I will obviously, and this is true for any of these, if I go to any of them, and particularly if I buy a reasonable amount of stuff, I will probably do a video kind of reviewing it and doing a little bit of a haul. So keep an eye out for that. But that is happening in March. Coming up to April, there is Spring into Wool at the Grammar School at Leeds in Harrogate. That's on the 11th and the 12th of April. Covering knitting, crochet, felt making, weaving, spinning and dyeing. They've got workshops, they've got demonstrations. They specifically seem to pride themselves on being accessible and welcoming, so it feels like a great environment for particularly like beginners looking for kind of advice or patterns or picking new things up, that seems like a good place to go, because some of the bigger shows, I think, if you're just getting into something, are very intimidating. I haven't been to Spring Into Wall, so I don't know how big it is, but the vibe of it on the website is very much like it's friendly. It's, you know, it doesn't have that kind of big corporate energy, which can be quite nice sometimes. Moving into May, we have the Buxton Wool Gathering at Buxton Pavilion Gardens. That's the 16th and the 17th of May. The venue, first of all, just as an aside, looks very cool. It's a listed building. It's got domes, and it looks very dramatic, like a very cool place to have a wool festival. It's in the Peak District, obviously, that's where Buxton is. Covering spinning, felting, weaving, knitting, and crochet. They also have workshops. Definitely seems like a fun day out, particularly when the days will be firmly into spring by that point. So travel a little bit further away will be slightly easier. Then in June, we've got two. The first is the Wool Monty on the 13th and the 14th in Magna in Sheffield. Pitched as a yarn show with a difference. It prides itself on being accessible, inclusive, welcoming. Honestly, on the website, that was the main vibe. Like, I had to dig to find out what sort of things they would cover. They're very keen for you to know that they would be very welcoming, and they've put a lot of effort into inclusion and accessibility, which is great. But there's no sort of pitch of what they're actually doing on the front page, so I had to do a little bit of digging for that. So they have got sort of focusing on yarn in general, embroidery, dyeing, crochet, knitting patterns and accessories. There will be workshops. I think those are still TBC. Obviously, we're a few months out from that still, so keep an eye on that if you're interested. And then the weekend after, on the 20th and the 21st, we have the Cumbrian Wool Gathering at the J36 Auction Centre in Cumbria. This is a sister event to the Buxton Wool Gathering, and there'll be another one of those later in this. So the Wool Gathering do 3 events throughout the year. So it covers a similar range of crafts and interests: spinning, felting, weaving, knitting, and crochet. There's also workshops. I would imagine if a creator or an exhibitor is on the circuit for one, they're more than likely, depending on like regional travel, going to be at all 3. So I don't know if it's worth going to all 3 or just picking the one that's closest to you. But Buxton, Cumbria, and there's one in Stafford as well. Spoilers. So, you know, pick whatever one is closer to you, or let me know if it's worth going to them all, if they've got different characters and different people. I don't know. And then over the summer it gets a little bit quiet. I couldn't find anything in July and August. I think you know, they're assuming a lot of people are going to be on holiday, probably. So we come back in September to the Yarndale Show Weekend in Skipton at the Skipton Auction Mart on the 26th and the 27th of September, covering yarn, stitching, weaving, spinning, felting, and dyeing. The show will also feature workshops and talks. They also create a new, because Yarndale is like a shop, it's like a business. So they create a new like mascot sheep for every year, every show every year, which is super cute. So definitely worth checking out their website, even just to look at those, because that's adorable. And then in October, there is, as I mentioned, the Stafford Wool Gathering, which is on the 18th and 19th of October at the Staffordshire County Showground. Again, covering spinning, felting, weaving, knitting, crochet. They've got workshops. It's a slightly different, well, I would assume that it's a slightly different venue because it's at the showground, and the other places seem to be at more kind of completely inside kind of venues. But again, I don't know, so that might be a false assumption. But yeah, depending on where you are, they've got Buxton, Cumbria, and I don't know where the Cumbria one is, actually. I'm going to look it up because Cumbria is a big place. Hold, please. Okay, so it's just south of Kendal, so it is kind of southern Cumbria. Like, it might be just on the edge of the actual Lake District. Unsure, but yeah, so you've got Buxton, Stafford, and south of Kendal, which feels like a good spread if you want to get to any of those. And then November is busy. Obviously, people ramping up for pre-Christmas, great places to buy presents and kits for people. First up, we have another edition of the Creative Craft Show, which is the 5th to the 8th of November, again at the NEC in Birmingham, covering the same sort of gamut of like broad crafts. They've got kind of something for everyone: knitting, cross-stitch, papercraft, jewelry, dressmaking, stitching rather, workshops, talks, I think. And for that one, it will run simultaneously with Sewing for Pleasure, Simply Christmas, Cake International, and Bake International, and your ticket will include entry for all of those. So that feels like the kind of thing where it's worth going for like a couple days because there's a lot to cover there. But yeah, the creative craft shows, I would love to go to one because it just seems like, I mean, it sounds enormous. And it's just kind of fun to dive into an event that big, you know. And then the next weekend on the 14th and the 15th of November, there's the Yorkshire Yarn Fest at Sandburn Hall in York, featuring hand-dyed yarn, felt, cross-stitch, embroidery, weaving, spinning, macrame or macrame, more things than that. There's not a lot of info for that on their website yet, but obviously this is in November that we're talking about, and it's February now, so check out their website in a few months to see if they've got more info. I imagine it's going to be pretty good. I'm looking forward to that one, sort of tentatively. Haven't been to that one before, so yeah, it would be cool. And then the weekend after, on the 19th to the 22nd of November, there's the Knit and Stitch in Harrogate, in the convention centre at Harrogate. Again, still early days on exactly who's going to be there. They're still open for exhibitors if you are someone who sells things and would like to apply. But it'll cover the normal range of things: yarn, sewing, craft supplies and kits, beading, jewelry making, patterns. They have workshops and talks. They have really cool art exhibitions in the front hall in there that are really worth taking a look at. We tend to do those last as we come around, and honestly, it's just so nice to spend some time. It's a slightly quieter bit of the convention centre, but absolutely so worth visiting, and lots of people do really cool stuff in there. And they've got live stage, so they do catwalks and things as well. We've been to that one the last couple of years in a row, so I don't know whether we'll go to that one or not this year. It might be NEC instead of, or Creative Craft Show instead of Knit and Stitch, but that's in November. That's a long way away, so we shall see. And that's it. Nothing in December. Presumably everyone's too busy already sort of having been assigned their Christmas crafts and trying to finish everything off before it's too late. But that's still plenty to get your teeth into. That's 12, I think, by my count, festivals and shows. A lot of them are kind of yarn heavy, but there are some more general ones in there. Let me know in the comments if you know of any more in the Northwest, or travelable from the Northwest. Realistically, I'm not talking 4 hours, because I would love to add more to this list. This is sort of semi, here's some information I found, and semi, please give me more things that I could write on my list, because it's sort of my dream to have a kind of really comprehensive list of all the festivals and shows that I'm interested in, and then go through every year and update and be what are the new dates this year, who's doing what's not happening, what is happening that is new, and kind of not missing anything, essentially. Even if I'm not able to go, or it's not the right sort of vibe that day, even just knowing what's out there is really cool. So let me know if you've got any sort of hot tips to suggest for places to go throughout the year, because I know that other people will also find that helpful. So that's all for today. A bit of a short one, but hopefully useful. It's kind of got me, writing this list has got me all sort of jazzed up for events this year, so I'm excited. I'm looking forward to them. Yeah, obviously I will do videos if I go to any of them. I will go to some of them. I will do videos with reviews and hauls and that sort of thing as and when, so even if you can't make it, you might enjoy those. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. Take care, and I will see you on the next project.